Hi again, on Fitter Everyday number 15, we're covering the deadlift. A lot of people struggle with the setup for the deadlift, so I'm going to try to give you a very simple formula for getting it right. If we look at the footage on the screen right now, you'll see a red line that dissects Marie's scapula, her barbell, and the middle of her foot. If we get these three things in line, coupled up with a nice neutral spine, as well as the correct grip and stance, we're well on our way to a good deadlift setup. I think the reason a lot of people struggle with getting the deadlift setup right is that they're trying to create a mirror image of what they've seen someone else do. And what we need to remember is that everybody has different biomechanics. So people's hip height is going to be different based on their leg length versus torso length. And, you know, obviously men and women are built differently, things like that. So if we focus on those basic 3 points, scapula, barbell, midfoot, and that nice neutral stable spine, then it takes a lot of that guesswork out of the equation. I'm going to break up the execution of the movement into several stages today because there's just so much to talk about with the deadlift. One of the first things that I like to see athletes do is to use the weight of the bar to create tension in the body. So oftentimes I'll see an athlete try to adopt the setup as previously discussed, but there's just no engagement or tension there. So as you can see Marie doing right here, she's squeezing the body tight against the resistance of the bar. That's going to help her feel the position and help to activate all of those muscle groups involved. The first stage of execution is from the ground to the knees. So what we want to focus on here is keeping the back angle constant. So you shouldn't see any change of the torso angle from Marie's setup through to the knee position. We're going to think about squeezing the bar off the ground. I like to tell my athletes to think about pushing the world away from them with their feet. Once we've made it correctly to the knee position, we then just need to think about squeezing those glutes and contracting those hamstrings and driving the hips to the bar all the way to that fully upright position. Coming back down is essentially the reverse movement pattern of the up. So we want to think of the training value of coming back down. We're staying engaged and we're going to be in control of that descent. So we're going to tip forward at the hip. We're going to let the bum travel rearwards. The knees are going to unlock as a byproduct of the fact that we've bent at the hip, and we're going to keep that bar in nice and close. Once we've tipped forward at the hip to get us back down to the knee, we're going to bend at the knees and focus on keeping that back angle constant from the knee to the ground position. The first couple of mistakes we're going to talk about today revolve around violating that constant back angle from the ground to the knee. So the first one, Marie leads with the shoulders. So we're essentially almost trying to pull the bar through the shins. This is a problem because we're not utilizing the legs, the big muscle groups, to break the inertia of the bar, and we're basically relying on the lower back to do the work. And in the second instance, the legs are extending prematurely, so that could be that we have a poor awareness of the movement, or it could be that the legs are overpowering the core's ability to transmit that power through to the bar. One of the first things that I would do to try to fix this would be to segment the movement back to the ground to the knee portion and focus on that relationship of hips and shoulders moving together and reduce load, obviously, if necessary. The next one is where the athlete's knees protrude into the path of the bar. So they may come up with correct mechanics, but we see them break early at the knees, the torso stays upright, and we've got more like squat mechanics going on here. So I would cue this athlete to focus on bum back, chest forward, let the knees bend as a byproduct of the fact that the hips have moved rearward, so much to the point where I might have a PVC pipe in front of their knees to delay their knee bend, or I might have a PVC pipe behind their backside that they can aim to hit on the way down. I'm going to group the next two faults into the same category. First up, we've got an athlete who's allowing the bar to drag them to the ground. So they're basically disengaging and just falling with the bar. So it's a very good way to get yourself hurt. And the second instance, we've got an athlete who's purposely bouncing the plates into the ground to gain some advantage. So the thing to realize here is that you're hopefully doing deadlifts for a training effect as opposed to a score on a board or a number of reps or a time or something like that. Training effect should always be first and foremost. Don't violate good principles of training for the sake of a number on a whiteboard. The deadlift is a great movement that should be a staple in anyone's training who's looking to get strong, but unfortunately it's probably one of the most shortcutted and cheated movements in all of strength training. So it's very, very important to remember why you're doing things. Don't lose sight of that. Don't let other influences get in the way of a good decision. Once again, thanks for watching our videos, and we hope you got something out of today's video.